that's the wrong question. The right question is, does this sound like me? Is this my voice? Knowing me, and if you were described, if Yale called me and said, what am I like? Would this sound like my interests? Or does this capture the kind of student and person I will be in that? Even if I tell it in a creative way, and many students do that, is it me? That's the most important question to ask. And then somebody can check the spelling and make sure that it's not the kiss of death. But do, and these days computers with their spell check often can leave you with awkward. So do proofread. But the reason I said don't have everybody read it and then say and try to insert big long words where a short word would do. I hate having to look up words. So use your own voice. But the other reason not to overthink it is that it's like boiling vegetables too long. You lose the flavor and the nutrients, okay? I'll give a little bit of advice. Austin may chime in. Kim and her colleagues at this school and your advisors at other schools may have great advice along the same lines, but I think what you should do is think about what we've conveyed, and keeping in mind we're trying to picture you in our environment. Write in such a way that you will describe, as if we were having a conversation with you, what matters to you in terms of your education. Even if it's a very ordinary subject that you choose to convey that, it might be one of the best essays we've ever read. Don't try, as some of the guidebooks suggest, or don't struggle to think, how can I stand out among, in Yale's case, 27,000 applicants. Don't try to find a topic to write about that we've never seen before. It can't be done. And it isn't necessarily the best thing to do anyway. Okay? We've said before we could go on for days about single topics, but hopefully that will give some guidance on that.
One other thing I'd contribute to that is that it's also a common misconception that it's a good idea to include brief mention of all the awards that you've received in your essay. We see that elsewhere because you list your awards in the Common Application and in the Y&C application. So we have absolutely no need for repeated information, and this goes for the entire application. We read it, and we really read it, and we remember. So mentioning it twice is not better than mentioning it once, because we'll read it and remember and take notes. So your essay should be about exactly what makes you tick, as Keith said, with no need to reference any particularly prestigious activity or award. It is all about conveying your character, intelligence, wit, and why you would be an interesting student.
And that's very good advice. I mean, if what you want to talk about relates to something,
if it happens to relate, right, yeah. Right. If you were the national debating champion, and it happens to be that the most illustrative event is your final round debate becoming the champion of something, or competing in the Olympics, right? So if you're writing about the final round figure skating for Olympic gold, right? Great, fine, no worries. That sounds amazing. But really, that's not the point. The point is what you convey about yourself through whatever topic you pick.
And one other thing that I think will be very helpful as you apply to schools that are selective, and Austin just touched on this, by the way, is keeping in mind that we read it cover by cover. It's not an assembly line. Here, you read the list of activities.
Yeah, there's not.
You read essay 1, you read essay 2. We read it and the recommendations together. And here's why we say this, is that, again, it's an imperfect vehicle. But if you imagine it being something as a whole, and using even the short answer questions in the list to, and be judicious. By the way, sometimes less is more. It's irritating to see, please limit your answer to 500 words. But we're not doing that to be bureaucratic. And it's harder sometimes to write things that are shorter, but think of the essence of you. So, and think about the teachers you will choose to write your recommendations, because each bit can complement each other. Choose recommenders who know your different qualities.